Loneliness sucks. It's a killer. The suicide rate in Montana, we rank at the last that I checked, second in the United States, only behind Alaska. A lot of it has to do with isolation. A lot of it has to do with economics. And I don't see that changing anytime soon unless we take action. So I have an idea, and it's a good idea. It's called Montanathon, and it is a statewide event that takes place. I'd like to do it 2 times a year, but let's just get the fall one through the docket and test it out and get people inspired. See, the thing is, people need inspiration. We've been living in a terrible period of time, very trying to the spirit, to the psyche, to our bodies even. It's been harrowing what the world has been through, but I can't really expand too much outside of what's happening right here in Montana. The truth is, there's so much good going on here, and there's an enormous amount of loneliness simultaneously. It's running side by side. I want to focus on the good, nourishing the good that's here in Montana, in our tiny little towns. I want to celebrate it, elevate it, showcase it. I want to do it on a main stage and satellite stages all around the state, where we get to show off our stages, where we get to design our own sets and show our pizzazz. Theater is this amazing tool to help people connect with one another. It's community building. It works like magic, and it's been happening for generations. The thing about theater is that all theater, like all television, good theater, good storytelling, is the hero's journey, is the heroine's journey. And they're 2 different things, two stories that run simultaneously to each other. One is an external story and one is an internal story, masculine and feminine. And I believe that the magic of theater is the answer to healing our hearts, our minds, our communities. A friend that I went to high school with and that we worked together on teen programs, his 11-year-old daughter committed suicide not too many years ago. Why 11? Except to look around at what the world looks like and go, there's nothing here for me. I don't want to believe that there's nothing here for our youth, that they look around at their towns. And I cross the state of Montana. This whole state needs a good paint job, to be totally honest with you. It would be awesome if we had friends coming in from the cities, connecting with us, helping us paint the town, literally painting the town. This happened in the town that I grew up of, Phillipsburg, Peaburg, Montana. Some guy, I want to get into the details of it, but it doesn't matter. Somebody in the town had the money, the foresight, the interest in painting the town. And it already had beautiful structure. Some of our towns don't have the same kind of infrastructure because of the types of money that came in originally, but most of them have good bones because we're in kind of a dry area, so that the foundations of our buildings are often in pretty good shape. There's a lot of possibility for investment for people who don't want to live in the cities anymore because it's just become too chaotic. And the thing is, we often focus on who's going to buy the real estate outside of the town, big plots of land, small plots of land. We have to put our thinking caps on right now. And we can do this, I swear, through the theater, because we get into conversations as we're developing our theater. And this type of theater is devised theater, which means it's sort of call and response. It's improvisational theater. And this type of theater gives people their voices. This round of theater in particular is just showcasing who's here in our state, who has something to offer and hasn't maybe figured out or doesn't have the time or the interest or inclination to focus on, I'm moving the mic. This is a new setup for me. Inventors. Yeah, there's creative people in our areas, but when I was out on the road with my boyfriend 2 summers ago, working on a hemp project, a wool and hemp project, how to be able to combine the sheep farmers, sheep herders who are still here in this area and aren't fetching top dollar for their wool as they should be. We should, if you want to invest in American goods and services, invest in your farmers and ranchers. And on these farms and ranches, people are painters and writers and singers too. Because we are a diverse lot and we are creative. I know the people of Montana. I've been here for years. I've traveled the state as a young person. There was creative people then. There's creative people now. There's also inventors. So to get back to the hemp farming, yeah, I was calling it hemp ranching because like wrangling the hemp. They're big stocks on par with bamboo. It's wild. There's so much potential here in Montana for so many good things. And when I was out on the high line of Montana, in the golden circle of Montana, or the golden triangle, I don't know what I said, golden circle, the golden triangle of Montana and the high line, Shoto, Chinook, I'm like Scoby's way across the state by Plentywood. When I was a young person in my teens and early 20s and making connections with all the bright young people who'd come to the universities, it was powerful. And yet our towns are crumbling. Our populations are getting older. That the wisdom of those generations are being lost because the kids, the young kids these days, have the cameras pointed at themselves and not necessarily their elders. And that information is going to go away if we don't capture it, that wisdom. So I have this idea in my mind about an event that happens a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, because once we get to Thanksgiving, everybody loses their mind. And it's just like, trying to catch up with everything that you didn't get done the rest of the year. And it's the pressure's on. And we forget about the joy of the holiday season. Some of it has to do with financials because you're trying to fix those things in the fourth quarter too. So my idea, we have nearly 6 months. Let's check this. So here we are, mid-July, August, September, October. We have 3.5 months. 3.5 months is plenty of time to bring together our communities on stages across the state of Montana, showcasing and celebrating the talent. And I'm talking about talent as far as the set that we create, the sets that we create. I have this vision for a competition, set creation competition. And we'll have voters from all over the world weigh in on it. Because here's the deal. Part of showcasing and celebrating who we are in Montana is for those of us who are ready, prepared to take money at the door and sell their products online. We can go live worldwide. And we can use a switcher and a good producer who knows how to call the show and switch it in and out from the main stage to the satellite stages. And once this happens and people say, I have an invention, I keep trying to get back to the invention. There was a young guy up on the High Line and he had like converted a swather to be able to deal with the hemp and do some of the original mastication of it to strip out the fibers. if you can do that on the front end of the process, it saves so much time. And the world needs to know about that. He needs to be put in touch with people who would value and benefit from that invention, that changeover to a system that makes it better for hemp production. But that was only one person. One thing about Montana folk is often somebody in the family knows how to do mechanicking work. My dad was that person, and he could take junk from the junk pile and turn it into other things because he knew how engines work, and he knew how undercarriages worked, and he knew how all these different kinds of, and I wish that my dad was still alive, because I wish that I could put a camera on him and follow him around and learn what he knew. Maybe not from me, but some kid that would resonate with my dad's sense of humor and his quirky personality and his wisdom. But he didn't live long enough for me to figure this out, to be able to make it available to him. Same with my mom. My mom was a great cook, an artist, and a beautiful singer. And I would have loved to, at this age, at the age that she died, we hadn't resolved pretty much anything about my youth and her parenting. And I've had to do a lot of healing work around and for and about my mom without her being here to back and forth it with her. I wish she was here, because today I would put her on stage with a microphone in front of her and let her sing to her heart's content and showcase her art pieces. And I would help her be able to figure out a way to put it online so that she could have her own money coming in and she could make the decisions that she wanted to make for and about her life. This is about economics, and it's about shifting and changing the economics by using the internet to our advantage. The mechanism is the theater. The mechanism is the stage and the magic that happens in theater that pulls communities together, and people show up and share their gifts that you don't even know that people have. At the Grange meeting the other day, somebody challenged me, kind of like who do you think you are? This was after I had sat back down, and I stood back up and I said, listen, my aunts, Barb and Janet in particular, she is my biggest challenger. And for projects like this, I often bring them to her first before I let anybody else see it, because if she gets it and she is enthusiastic about it, that's a good indicator that I'm on track. And one of the things that I asked her about is, who's somebody in your community that the world would be better for knowing their character and the wisdom that they carry just in their brain and their body, or by knowing something that they know. So she quickly said, there's this person and this person. And I was like, oh, one is a leather worker. The other person does basket weaving. Now imagine that somebody wants to learn basket weaving. They want to come to a beautiful place in Montana, or leather working, or as I pointed out to my Aunt Janet, I have a third person to nominate. And this person, it makes the most incredible Christmas cookies, the most incredible Christmas candy, and has carried on traditional recipes from the Valley, from Phyllis White to Janet Kuhn and Barb Kahn. And you two sisters make beautiful cookies and candy together and have been for years. And the world deserves to know that, because some people don't get that tradition at all. It's not handed down at all. They don't have anything like that. And you, Aunt Janet, you can actually bring people into your heart of these traditional Christmas candies and cookies. And it's not just about the cookies and the candies. It's about who you are as a person and how you've always celebrated Christmas. That I've known you, Christmas candy and Christmas cookies have been part of your lexicon since I've known you, since I was a little kid. So that's 3 in Granite County. Now, I know that most people don't have the actual, what do I want to say? It's hard to stand up and raise your hand and say, I know something. It's easier to point out often who you know who has talent that you know of. And so the process is this: nominate 2 people that you can think of, and then anonymously nominate yourself. Just write down your name and maybe one thing that you do. In Janet's case, cookies and candy, although she makes fabulous white dinner rolls, like light and fluffy, and the butter just melts in, and they are so delicious. See, this is the thing. If you didn't have a family that passed down these traditions, for me to give my to share my Aunt Janet with you, God, it brings tears to my eyes, because she raised beautiful families. She's raising beautiful families. Her grandchildren, her children, my cousins, have beautiful families. And it's like everybody takes care of those little kids, and they're so lucky to have her as their Grammy. And she makes great Christmas cookies and candy. And then she nominated 2 people. And now imagine if those 2 people nominated themselves and they nominated 2 people. I think we'd probably find out where all the wisdom and skills and knowledge, where all of that is in a community. This is how it's done. We nominate each other, then we say, do you want to come to the stage and share? Or can we send out somebody with a camera, a kid with a camera? That should be the name of the program, a kid with a camera. And to learn basic journalism skills: who, what, when, where, why, and how. These are basic storytelling skills as well. These storytelling skills translate to the theater. See how this works? First, we start with what is the known factors in the community. And I can't know in every county in Montana who the people are, who's got the skills, knowledge, and talent. All I can do is try to amplify the message and voice via video and audio and digital messaging, print or whatever. I can just try to share this message the best I can in your own community, because this question came up. But if you're not here, Renee, how can we do it? I'm like, you have tons of smart people in your community. We all, when I'm in your town, I'm going to help out with the project. So what does this look like? It looks like one person in the community raises their hands and says, I want to do this in my community. And you ante in, and then I come to your community and we throw a party, and I share, we share tools. We start playing with some of the concepts to devise the theater that will be to come. Mostly for this talent show, we're just getting people to tap in and to tune into their own talent. So there's not any memorization. It's you are the expert. You're the expert. This is easy for you. It's just that instead of talking in the garage or the dining room table or wherever, you are often in the kitchen, in the garden, wherever you typically share your knowledge and inspiration and information. Instead of doing it there, you're doing it either on camera or on a stage or a set. That, you know, it could be the television station set. In my great grand vision, we have, you know, the community stage where we're kind of just rotating through from the audience to the stage, and we're witnessing each other sharing. And we have a video camera there that's going out all over the world. It's called e-streaming. We're e-streaming. And oh, did I mention this project is called Montanathon, like a telethon? I don't know if there's going to be a telethon factor. I don't know. I'm going to get experts who will help figure out these pieces of the puzzle, people who've done similar types of things like this before. In fact, I have some folks lined out, but of course, people's time is valuable, and their knowledge and inspiration and insights, it's valuable. We all need to get paid, all of us. And you as the talent and the producer of your own talent, you have to get paid too. So we want to be able to set this up so that you get to, if you know, maybe in the next 3.5 months, you're going to create an album. 3.5 months is plenty of time to create an album. 3.5 months is plenty of time to create a print series from a series of paintings. Thinking ahead about what people might want to buy for Christmas. This project is going to give all of us the opportunity to share our talent from stage, but showcase it and potentially sell it. We all have to be ready to sell it. We're going to bring in experts who are going to help us get ready to sell online. Because part of this for me has to do with economics and improving individual household incomes. Improving individual household incomes improves economics in our small towns, across the state, and nationally. The whole world benefits when we move some money in Montana out into the world. And there are programs that are doing a good job. We just need to step up our game. And we need to step up our game for all of us. That means those of us who want to do this have to be ready, and we're going to help you get ready in the next 3.5 months. We're not stretching this out for a long, long time because we'll lose momentum. So I want to keep the momentum here and now, and use the magic of theater and the pressure of the deadline and all of the factors that are going to help us get to the finish line. And get to the finish line together, for one thing, because this is going to take a whole community effort. And part of this is that our communities, our country, our world, in some ways has been torn apart, and in some ways is more connected and inclusive than it ever has been. My focus right now is nourishing the good. Nourishing the good in you, nourishing the good in me, nourishing the good in others, nourishing the good for the whole of us, all of us. And curating our wisdom. Curating our wisdom. And I don't know what that is. I only know what I can see in my tiny little town where I'm at right now. And as I go out onto the road, I'll be able to identify more of it and help you identify who's the talent that, as I call it, the jewels and hidden gems of our community. We're going to identify who in our community is doing interesting things that we didn't even know about. Somebody knew about it. Someone knows about it, because those people are going to get nominated. And they're going to get nominated to, and they'll get the choice. Nobody has to do this. But it feels good when people recognize your talent. And I am thrilled to been given this vision. It scares me because it's huge, but also I'm up for the task. I've been through a lot in my life. I've been carrying different iterations of this vision for some time. And the time is now. The time is now, because not only do we need to get out of the doldrums here in Montana, the doldrums that have been going on for the middle class and lower class for forever. We need to get out of the doldrums as a state of Montana, just in the depression, because here's the thing. The indicators by the media and everybody else is that we are in for another depression. And I say, no, we can't do this. We cannot, as human beings, afford another depression. So we have to have a renaissance. If there is what comes out, let's just say we've been in a depression, then what's next? A renaissance. And who better to lead that? A woman by the name of Renee, reborn, renaissance, of the word renaissance, renewed. My name is Renee Francis Kahn. Renee as in renewal, renaissance. Francis as in freedom. I believe in freedom, personal freedom, sovereignty, individuality, liberty, all of that. And some of that has to do with financial freedom, of which I'm like the rest of Montana, haven't fully figured it out, but we're going to do it together. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to do this together, and we're going to use theater to do it. And this project, this process is going to inspire people all over the world. And we are going to see a resurgence of creativity like the world has never seen before. And this time, Montana is the leader. Some of how we are going to do it is because we live in small towns. That's our advantage. It's not a disadvantage, not when you have the internet at your disposal. So we have to learn how to best use the internet to our advantage, to our benefit. Every person who has a lick of talent in them should be benefiting from the internet. This is my call to action. We're going to get together. We're going to throw theater. We're going to throw some theaters, theater adventures, theater shows all over the state of Montana. And we're going to do it in one weekend. And we're going to prepare ourselves over the next 3.5 months for that. And then we're going to showcase ourselves, and we will be ready for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I just want to enjoy my family on Thanksgiving. And then I want to make cookies and candy with my aunts for Christmas. And I want to enjoy this holiday season. Christmas in my family, despite the fact that Aunt Janet and Aunt Barb and everybody makes it the best Christmas that they can, historically had some trauma involved with it. And so I'm working through that myself, that I've carried on epigenetically without even knowing it or meaning to or any of it. and doing my healing work as a healer that has come to the fore in the last 1.5 to 2 years, really strongly. And I have a support team this time, both people who understand business and online marketing and that sort of stuff to draw from, those people for all of us, not just from me, all of us, but also a support team that is going to help me make it through this emotionally, spiritually, physically. I mean, truly, I want you to think about this. Getting on stage at all, even this, sitting in front of the camera, is taking up a lot of energy because I know I want to give you the best me that I can. And so being prepared for that is important. So to prepare all of us for theater, I have an idea that we're going to be doing some working out together. And I don't know what any of this is going to look like yet. We're making it up as we go along. It's called improvisation. And I have theater people who are going to help with this improvisation. I have music people who are going to help with this improvisation. This is our specialty. And we're going to bring it together, and it's going to be a show like the world has never seen, from a stage like the world has never seen. Montana, that's the stage that we're setting. And my hope is that by the end of this whole process, the world knows us better, and we are able to speak to how we want to move forward with our voices, the people who are here right now, who've been here for generations, the indigenous people, the tribal people who are here, who've been here even longer, speaking their truth about how they want this land to be utilized, benefited from, taken care of. Our voices deserve to be heard. And we deserve to be seen and heard. And we can do that now with the advent of the internet. It's just now we're going to figure out how to really take it to our advantage. And prosperity and abundance will reign for our communities in Montana. Prosperity and abundance will reign for everyone that our work touches, because they're going to benefit from our wisdom, our art, our skills and knowledge, and everything else that we bring to the table to offer up, to share. This is Montanathon. Montanathon is also my trek around the state to fund this thing. That's a marathon event for me, to go out into the communities and meet people. So I am fundraising for this, and I do need your support. And I do want you to be involved in that way as well. And I think that it's a worthy cause, because it isn't just about me, it's about all of us. It's about all the theaters. I have a neighbor up the hill, and she was telling me that her family grew up, or she grew up on the High Line, and her family spread out all through the High Line. And she said, you know, these are people who were involved in the theater early on. If the theaters are shut down, the bones are still there. There may be a way to open them up. This could be a new advent of theater in our communities. I don't even know what the scene is. I got to get on the road to be able to find out what's going on out here in Montana. And I feel like this has just been a long rant, but I'm trying to give you as much context about why this is important to me, to you, to our community and our world, because this is going to impact our world. Listen, we've been being told by the media that prepare for the worst in November. We've been hearing all this stuff on, so I don't know if you have, I don't know what I'm logged into, why I'm getting the financial advice about the coming doomsday and the food shortages, and all of that might be true. But look, we're here in Montana. We've got cows and sheep and wheat and barley and lentils and chickens and the food that we put up over the summer. And it's a beautiful summer right now. We're okay. We're okay. And in fact, not only are we okay, but we may be the breadbasket for this country who's losing their minds because they're buying in to the messaging that they're being sold right now, given right now by media. Any of that stuff could happen, but all it's doing is triggering and traumatizing people, alarming people. That's what's happening. Their bodies are being alarmed. Both epigenetic trauma, cellular memory, from when our ancestors were suffering from the last depression in the Dust Bowl. The people are still alive who experienced that and never want to do that again. And if they didn't talk about it to their kids and their grandkids, and they didn't share that, then they're carrying the burden of all of that in their bodies still. And they passed it down genetically. This is what neuroscience is thinking right now anyway. And so this is our opportunity to heal, because we're being so alarmed, so that we can take the work, the learnings, the teachings that I've been picking up from really amazing teachers in the areas of trauma, anxiety, depression, how to handle emotions, psychology, mindset, all of it. I've had the opportunity to make an incredible experts, people from all over the world, and the world, the world needs to heal the depression era thinking in us. and step more into an abundance thinking collectively, right? And we've all been triggered and alarmed because our existence was on threat in 2022, bigger than collectively, globally, on threat, all of it simultaneously. We all got it. We all get hit with it at the same time. And it doesn't just go away. What it does is it tickles the neurotic part of our brain. And I can speak to that because I've been working with Dr. Russ Kennedy. And I was thinking that word, it's got this terrible name, neurotic, but it's like, no, it just means that you feel alarmed and you're vigilant about the threat, the potential of threat, and you worry a lot. These are the hallmark, and it's not uncommon for men to experience it, not uncommon for women to experience it, not uncommon for kids to experience it. And it can get triggered, and it's known. The whole point is we can do a lot of healing through theater. That's the whole point. We can heal ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and we do it by nourishing the good. That's the point. Instead of focusing on what needs to be fixed, we focus on building community. We focus on being in community and seeing what happens, because that's the other thing about, there's this beautiful magic that happens in theater. There's the beautiful magic of the moment when somebody or a few people start talking in the background and they go, this is impossible. We're not going to be able to do this. And it can happen to anyone in the whole process, except often like the ones who've been working in theater forever. And they're like, even though it looks like we trust the process. That's why they get to stay there. That's how they can handle the stress of it. Bring in a new director or, other people in the community to help support on the back end, because it's good for everybody to have the experience of how to create sets and costumes and feel like, oh God, we're not going to get there, and then do it. And we all do it. We do it. But that moment will cross our paths, and it might shuffle through the whole troupe at one point or another. And we know that the show will go on. The show will happen in our community. It will happen because we're willing it to happen. And we've got something to say. We've got talent to showcase. That's why it'll happen. We will do it for each other. We'll do it for ourselves. We'll do it for each other. We'll do it for the limelight. We'll do it for the opportunity to have something to showcase later on. If you decide that I like being under the lights and I'm going to LA or Austin, Texas, and sing Nashville, Tennessee, here I come. Like that inspiration. We get to be the inspiration for each other, for our whole state. And we're going to see economic improvement out of this. I hate to get down to the brass tacks and bottom line, but we're going to see economic improvement out of this whole thing. And that, for the accountants and the tax people who are trying to right now figure out how we're going to keep going, that's a winner chicken dinner as far as I'm concerned. I mean, as a friend of mine says, what's a home run? What's a grand slam? Isn't a grand slam where like the bases are loaded and everybody comes home? Like it's a home run, bases are loaded, everybody comes home. It's like 4 points, isn't it? Yeah, 4 points. You get right there. Freaking cool. All right. So then what's a home run? And then what's a single and a double and a triple? We can identify those as markers for this project. And then that's the game on. Can we improve it next year? And this is teaching us all about business too, on a larger scale. But the thing is, all contributing to it from an authentic place, from the place of seeing the good in ourselves, seeing the good in others, nourishing the good. I want to talk about this for a minute, nourishing the good. So this came out of the work the anxiety work that I'm doing with Dr. Russ Kennedy. I had this realization at one point. I hadn't even read all the way through the book to notice that this is actually his antidote. So, you're on the right track when your intuitive mind is coming up with a similar suggestion as what somebody writes in a book, and they're a neuroscience expert, psychology expert in anxiety. The solution is to focus on the good. Focus on the good. He uses he uses the terminology more focus, and I say nourish it. It doesn't matter, because what you put your attention towards, that expands. So if we're putting our energy towards fear around what's happening in November, we're not enjoying July. Do you see? And I want all of us to be enjoying July and August and September and October and November and December and January and all through 2023 until we do our next Montanathon, our next event together to showcase and celebrate Montana. So the reason why we nominate other people is that we're looking for the good in them. We're calling it out. We're seeing it and saying it, because that doesn't happen very often either. That somebody is like, dude, you're really cool. This basket weaving thing is amazing. God, it'd be so awesome if you could, make a little money from doing a summer workshop in it, leather working. If you could make a little extra money from doing a workshop, an online course, or if people could come and visit you next summer and put up a tent in your backyard and learn basket weaving, learn candy making from the best of the best, learn leather working, learn horseshoeing, learn sheep shearing, things that are potentially lost arts that take a lot of courage for those kinds of things that you're dealing with animals. But these are experiences, life experiences, and you can learn from the people who are on the ground doing it. And people who are learning from you can potentially benefit you and benefit them, because you're giving them a life experience and new tools and skills just by sharing yourself. But often people can't see their intrinsic value. Well, our intrinsic value is the fact that you're human and you're here, and you probably have some wisdom to share. That's your intrinsic value. You exist. You exist. You've got a beating heart. You have the potential for a generous spirit. You have a potential for a creative mind and action in whatever direction you see fit for the world to benefit your family, your community, the world, yourself, for you, because you're valuable, just you. And there are people in our community who are doing interesting, amazing things that we want to call out, call attention to. That's what a big piece of this puzzle is. Sometimes we can't see it and say it within ourselves until others see it and say it in us. Pouring into us, pouring love into us, listening to us, seeing us. All the value besides what we do for a living, what we do for our job, what we do for work. That it's our creative spirit that comes to the job, or our ability to assess situations quickly and make decisions. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent here. The point is, nourishing the good is a key to this whole thing. And we're saying, you're cool. You've got this talent. You're an inventor. Nobody knows except for me. So I'm identifying that there's a hidden gem, a jewel of a hidden gem right here, who's invented this cool thing, doesn't know how to bring it to the marketplace may die with this person, could have saved the world with this cool invention, but was too shy to bring their work to the world, didn't have enough self-confidence, didn't want to deal with how to make the stupid computer work. All of those things are solvable. But first, we got to know who's got the widget that's going to save the world, who's invented this thing that's going to benefit all of us, or just a few people. Doesn't matter. That's what I'm excited about. This is what I'm looking for as I go out into our communities and talent scout. I didn't know I was going to say all this, but it's all the truth from my heart. I've been trying to figure out how to say it, when to say it, make the notes, do this and that. And it's just like, I just have to speak from the heart, because I didn't get to give this gift to my parents. Do you want to know why? There's some kids out there that aren't going to get to give this gift to their parents if I don't do it. There's some kids in this world who are going to lose their parents early, like I did. And they're not going to have gotten to that place of really seeing and saying the good in their parents. And if we can capture this legacy work, this wisdom and knowledge, and curate it, even if there is no monetary benefit whatsoever, this beautiful piece of work, of legacy work, of capturing the good in the people of Montana, my parents would be proud. My parents, they are proud, but this is big for me. I didn't know how big it was. This is about love and carrying on our stories of love, seeing the good, saying the good, identifying it, celebrating it, nourishing it in others, and then letting others nourish it in us. Learn how to take compliments for our good work and really take it in and receive, become good receivers. Recognizing the good in us, learning to say it and see it in ourselves. This changes the world. And we use the theater as the mechanism, of the vehicle for all this to happen, for this beautiful magic of love and nourishing the good in ourselves and in each other. We use theater as the vehicle for this. And you'll see. If you don't believe in magic, Montanathon is going to show you that magic does exist in the world. It's in each other. It's in our willingness to suspend disbelief. Because what the world is telling us all right now is that it's bad. I hear the birds outside right now. I'm okay. Are you okay? I mean, you might be worried about rent and food costs going up and gasoline prices and all the things that we're being told to worry about right now. You might be worried about those things. But in this one moment right now, are you safe? Can you hear the birds? What can you hear around you? Can you feel your breath in your body? Can you feel your feet on the floor? Are you safe? Are you good? Are you okay? Are you okay? Start asking each other that question. Are you okay? And when you do, mean it. Mean it when you say it. This is one place that we start. Just knowing that the world's in upheaval and people are feeling tender and fragile and doing the best they can, sallying forth despite the fact that they have the weight of the world on their shoulders and alarm racing through their body. And still, are you safe? Most of us are. 99% of us are. And we can breathe into the goodness of that. We can nourish the good of that. And as we get a hold of our breath and we get a hold of our heart and we get a hold of our mind, by recognizing that we're okay in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, I'm okay. And I have just a momentary reprieve from the worry of my mind. Breathe into that. So there's a concept in business called the know, like, trust factor. And this whole video, long as it may be, I have no idea how long I've been speaking. I'm probably going to send out the whole thing exactly as it is, trusting the universe. That the words in many ways have been given to me to give to you, to share with you. Because I pray about this a lot. I pray that I'm able to communicate with people, my heart and mind, in a way that people can understand. And that inspires them to take action, inspires you to take action. So there's this concept, know, like, and trust factor. So I've spent this last period of time sharing with you myself, my personal story, the team of people. Another prayer I've been doing for a long time is calling in the cavalry, because I have felt so alarmed by the state of the world and situations in my own life, that my prayer was that help would come. And a year and a half ago, I got introduced to something called Clubhouse. It's an audio, social audio app. It's just audio. There's no video and you don't have to look at anything. It just comes into your ears. You can listen to it in the background, like talk radio. Only if you're participating, you can go to the stage and speak. And this is the place where I kind of got my voice, found my voice again, and remembered the best parts of myself as a young woman. And that I love oration. I love doing this. I love sharing this kind of hopeful message with you, with people. Speaking from the stage. This is where I hope that my world evolves to. That part of Montanathon is for me the opportunity to get to speak to people about Montanathon and to facilitate how we're going to do this project. So, know, like, and trust factor. So I've shared with you the people that we can access, that I met all over the world with talent that I didn't even know existed, that people, generous people from all over the world, cities, countries, all over the world, people who have come to me, shared with me, loved into me, and shared generously their knowledge. And we'll access that in one form or another. So that should give us some confidence and strength in this process. And then secondarily, I've shared with you my own journey getting here and why this is important to me and how impactful it can be on many different levels. at the heart of all the work I do is healthy human development. I've come to that conclusion in my Clubhouse self-discovery quest that I put myself through in the past year and a half, that healthy human development, that thwarting loneliness is the key in my mind to healthy human development. And that the two ways that I've identified, and there's tons and tons of ways to thwart loneliness. Part of it, our process is figuring out what that is for you. Usually just sharing yourself and sharing your knowledge is one of the ways to make connection and to thwart loneliness. But nourishing the good. So now you know my formula. The objective is healthy human development. The mission, thwarting loneliness. And the two main factors are nourishing the good and curating wisdom. That's, in my mind, the name of the game. And that is what Montanathon seeks to do. We're going to do it live before a live worldwide audience, before a live local audience, because TV stations and radio stations are going to want to be in on this because it's freaking cool. And we want to see it and hear it in our local communities. Who's out there doing good work? Who are the inventors? Who are the artists, the writers, the musicians, the talented folks in all ways and manners that I can't even imagine right now, but that you know in your own communities. This is about identifying who's who in our communities, who's doing interesting stuff, elevating it, celebrating it, sharing it with the world, and creating greater abundance of good. I don't know what the economic impact will be, but we'll see. I think that I hope that those of you who are business people, your wheels are turning on this, going like, this is gonna make good money. Yeah, let's get more people bringing in revenue from their small businesses, home-based businesses, cottage industry businesses, farmers markets, the talent, share your talent, make courses, do workshops, do seminars, that sort of thing. Share your knowledge, figure out what you want to do for next summer, 2023, and be able to offer that to people in November so that people can plan ahead. This is us getting ahead of setting ourselves up for success next summer too. And start thinking ahead. The business people amongst us, think about this. What is the economic impact? Who wants to try to predict what we could possibly do with a project like this successful? And of course, I'm probably making it all so grandiose, and we can start smaller, and it may very well be smaller in this beginning year, but I'm giving you the full scope of what the vision is of this project and why I want you to be involved right now. Either to identify somebody who should be on that stage, on one of our stages. Choose yourself, step up, step forward and say, I've got something to offer and I'm ready to go. Sign me up, show me what we got to do next. Like, that's great too. And we need sponsors. We need people to work the backstage. We need all sorts of people to be involved with this. And it is going to take all of us to be able to do this successfully. This is the greatest, most grandiose vision I've ever had. And it's doable. We have to, have support teams to be able to do it. We do have to raise money, just like any theater show. We have to raise money for this. But we'll do it because it's worth it. And it is going to benefit us not just in 2022, but generations to come, because our young people are going to support us through this with the tech. Our young people are going to support us through with the tech, and that's going to be brilliant. And that's going to set them up to be able to go out into the world with confidence, because they are going to have a resume and a portfolio of this brilliant work that they participated on and that made an impact in their communities. And that helped. This is what I actually, as I'm saying this, I can see it. When I said originally, like, paint the town, This is going to make it possible for our kids to see in this one short period of time, our communities blossomed and bloomed in ways that nobody even thought to imagine. I just thought to imagine it just in this one moment. I didn't even think about this hardly till this moment, that connecting with the world in this way, but letting our young people see the economic impact of us stepping forward with our good stuff, with our best, with our good stuff. That we made the choice for ourselves to nourish the good within ourselves and nourish the good within each other. Our kids, instead of getting the picture of our towns falling down, there's going to be a renewed vibrancy that will come from this, if not just only in our individual households. But when our individual households prosper, people will be able to think more bigly, ugh, what a crazy word. People will be able to think bigger, more grandiose, about, be able to look at the architecture, look at the potential of their towns, our towns, and go, I have a little extra money to invest in, and for the tourists next year, I'm going to put in a quilting shop. Because that's what me and my friends like to do. We like to quilt and we like to hang out together. So we might as well have a quilting shop, and we'll teach people to quilt who come into our town and knit and sew. I don't know. The sky's the limit when you have some revenue to play with. So the last piece about this is, I hadn't even brought it up till now, and I just realized this is exactly the right moment to say this. But it is, oh God, filling the means to our dreams. That's like the tagline. That the tour that I'm going out on right now is filling the means to our dreams. And I need people who have money, who want to see this happen, to put money in the kitty so I can keep traveling, keep sharing the message, and find the talent, and help you guys find the talent within your communities. Figure out how to be able to best do that. And it's fairly easy. You have a little card and you say, nominate, you pass it out at the community events. And you know what? I actually had this thought the other day. I was like, oh, we should have the people who do the ballots. Like my Aunt Barb, she's done the ballot thing for the election ballot office stuff for years, counted ballots. I'm like, at the end of this, we'll do like a talent drive or something like that. And it'll be like, nominate your favorite talent at every community event, nominate people, and then close it down and bring it all together and count it out and see, what it looks like, and go, these are the 3 people that the community has nominated to go to the main stage event, to be on the big stage. And the rest of us are going to stay at home, and we're going to do our own Montanathon event locally. And we're all competing in who has the coolest stage, and the whole world is going to get to vote on it. And then Montana gets to vote on it, and there'll be prizes and all sorts of cool stuff. Do you see how this is like, can grow into this beautiful thing? And this is just the beginning. We want you to put your visions into it, and maybe it'll happen this year, and maybe it'll take 5 years for it to happen in the way that I'm imagining it for 2022. But something is going to happen in November, and it is going to happen streaming all over the world, and it is going to happen on local stages across the state. This I can all but guarantee, because I can't do it alone. So I need support. I need support in all sorts of different ways. And I'm asking and inviting you to come along with me on this adventure and be a supporter of the Montanathon, the tour, the Filling the Means to Our Dreams tour, and the Montanathon event itself. Of course, we'll have advertising sponsors and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm just now reaching out to media to talk to them about the potential of this and collaboration. So if you have any help on those topics, that's great too. Okay, I've thank you so much for your time. I realize this is a really long video. I hope that it's helpful in inspiring you to, I don't know, you know what? Here's what I would love for you to do. I would love for you to tell me what part of this video inspired you the most. What part of the video resonated with you the most? I need to know that because I need to emphasize that. You know, was it the part about how it impacts my personal life through my mom and dad and wanting to like ensure that other young people who inevitably people just will lose their family members, and to be able to go through this process together as a community and not try to have to figure it out by yourself alone in your own home when you don't know the tech. That in and of itself is brilliant, that we just bring it to the stage, our stories, our services, our knowledge, our wisdom all at once. That I wish that I had my mom selling her paintings or sharing her painting or teaching a painting class, because she loved to do that, or singing on stage, and my dad showing about, you know, how he thought about lines on the earth and how to move water and how to be a mechanic and all the other myriad, and his mind is a philosopher. Did that part resonate with you? Or the part about economics, the economic potential of this, or the magic of theater and bringing community together, or the potential of some young person singing on stage and getting called out to Nashville, and everybody gets to celebrate that win because we put the stage together where that kid got to go and sing their heart out on the stage, and somebody was watching and they said, dang, you've got a great voice, come to Nashville, we'll record you. And that set somebody's star out into the world. I don't know what part of this is going to resonate with you. I'm inspired by the whole thing. It's kind of overwhelming to me, so I'll understand if it feels kind of overwhelming to you, but we can do it because we can do it. Just takes a little bit of money and some people who know about theater and producing shows, put that all together, bada bing, bada boom, we've got it. Because here's the thing, it's just theater. And the good news, the best news of all of this is in every town across Montana, at some point, we've all been involved with theater. So we kind of trust each other in the process. And we know about the magic of theater, and we know how powerful it can be. And that's all we're doing here. We're just putting on a little show. So my call to action, sign up for the emails, send me checks in the mail, put your credit card information in the place where we're asking you to put the credit card information, and make a donation to this project and this process to help to fill the means to our dreams, individually our dreams, collectively our dreams. And then let's put on a show. Let's do this. Let's do it not just for about our local community and our individual selves. Let's do it for the whole world, because the whole world right now needs some good news, and we can produce some good news here in Montana. So this is Renee. I am so grateful for your time with me, and we'll be in touch soon.